So, Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. This is Krishna Rasa. Today we are going to cover Shlokas 7.12 to 7.18. Before we begin, let me say the prayers to Guru and God. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalake Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we will play the Guru Mantra and then see if you can follow with it. Okay? You don't have to sound melodious or anything. The bhava is important. So as long as you feel the devotion, just try to follow. However it sounds is okay.
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Eventually we will get it, and then feel free to share your inputs if you would like to go line by line or however you like it. We will continue to evolve there. Okay. So are you all ready? Let us play the Shlokas.
Yes, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
ये चैव सात्विका भाव राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैरेभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम् दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थमहं स च मम प्रियः उदाराः सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम्.
Hare Krishna. Deepaji, today you are ready?
Yes, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
7.12 Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. 7.13 Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. 7.14 This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. 7.15 Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the aesthetic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. 7.16 O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. 7.17. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. And 7.18. All those devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect goal. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Deepaji. Hare Krishna. So where did we stop in the previous session? We discussed about how Krishna is the creator of the gunas. I hope you all remember. And we discussed how, like a spider, which weaves a web but never gets stuck in it, just like that, Krishna created Maya, Krishna created the gunas, but he's not impacted or influenced. That is the beauty. See, it's not just a philosophical lecture that we are going through. Whatever Krishna is saying, Krishna is actually calling us for a deeper understanding. He wants our transformation. He wants us to fully understand. That is the whole tattparya behind all the explanations that we are going through. Another good analogy is, Krishna is like that lighthouse. Have you all seen a lighthouse? I mean, not many of us, but I hope a lot of us have seen a lighthouse. The whole purpose is to guide the ships which are far in the sea. But as you see, the lighthouse itself, although it is guiding all the ships, the lighthouse itself never gets impacted by the waves of the ocean. That is a very good analogy. So Krishna is always guiding us, but just because he is guiding us doesn't mean he is getting impacted by whatever we are being impacted by. So he is above that. He is beyond that. That is what makes him such an awesome guide. Because he can guide us calmly. He can always give us the perfect guidance, regardless of what storms we are going through. So we should understand that, and one more reason why we should look up to Krishna. Why is Krishna, as you see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will explain about himself. He will talk about his own qualities, how I am there also, how I am, beyond this, how I am above that. And so you may wonder why. Is the intention, is he showing off? Does he need to show off? Does he really need our appreciation and applause? No. So what is the reason? See, just imagine somebody just randomly comes in front of you. You don't know that person at all. Randomly some person comes and they say that, hey, I am Guru. You have to accept me as a Guru. Are you going to do that? How is it possible? It's not going to happen. Right? When will we accept somebody as a teacher or a Guru? We should know something about that person. We should know some of their qualities. We should at least understand that, how they talk, what kind of knowledge they have. We want those things, right? We want to understand. Why a Guru? Even these days, even for if you want to go for a tuition class, we do like a Google search, how many students are there and how many students have topped from the class, and we need all the information before we will trust that person, even if it is for material knowledge. So for spiritual knowledge, definitely we need some kind of a knowledge about the person before we can accept that person as a Guru. That is one of the reasons Krishna is going into all these details, because once we understand the grand nature of Krishna, then it will help us surrender completely. Then we can accept him as the Jagat Guru. Because Krishna knows, only then the real divine knowledge will make sense. Only then the knowledge will actually work for you. That is the reason he is going into all these efforts to explain about himself, about his nature. We should always keep that in mind. And he is also telling us, if you understand my nature, you will be able to surrender to me. If you surrender, you have all these beautiful destinations you're going to reach. Your purpose is going to get fulfilled. And he also says, what happens if you don't surrender? So he gives a complete picture, he gives you all the data, and then he says, okay, now you go and make a informed decision. It's such an empowering position he puts us into, right? So Krishna will never force us. This is what we will discuss a few times in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's style is not a forcing style. He's not a dictator. He's going to explain, he's going to give us all the knowledge. He's going to tell us what happens if you follow. He's going to tell us what happens if you don't follow. At the end, he makes it our own choice. And what we should understand, Krishna is not just sharing knowledge. It is not an intellectual exercise, but he is trying to nurture bhakti in us. He is trying to put that seed in us that is going to lead us towards self-realization. You have to believe this, because this is extremely important if you have to totally internalize Krishna's teachings through the Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important. See, all this we have already learned. So much we have already learned. And Krishna himself has said, I am so superior, I have so many powers, I am above this, I am beyond this, all of that, correct? So if Krishna is so superior, if Krishna is absolute, if Krishna is perfect, why do you think people are not able to just realize this and surrender to Krishna? Any ideas? Anybody wants to share some thoughts? Why do you think people are not able to just realize this and surrender? Okay.
Maya.
Ego.
Ego, excellent, excellent.
Maya.
Ignorance.
Maya, okay.
Ignorance.
Ignorance, okay, there comes. So all answers are right answers, but if you want the technically correct answer, that is ignorance, because ignorance is the cause of everything. Right? Because Krishna himself said, how like smoke covers fire, dust covers the mirror, So this ignorance is what even puts us in ego. Because of ignorance, we don't understand that it is the ego which is coming in the way. Because of ignorance, we don't understand that pride is working against us. Correct? So that is the whole idea. And whatever Krishna is teaching us, he is trying to peel away that ignorance. That is what he is trying to do throughout his teachings. Now Krishna is giving us a shortcut. Because our job is to now get rid of this ignorance and get divine knowledge, develop bhakti, realize Krishna, surrender to Krishna. These are all the things we need to do. Now Krishna is giving us a shortcut. He says that it is not easy for humans to overcome these gunas and free themselves from the clutches of Maya. So Krishna himself is telling us that Maya is powerful, very powerful. And it is not that easy for humans to themselves figure out how to free themselves from Maya. So what is the shortcut? Krishna says the shortcut is just surrender to me. That is the shortcut. Or the other path is become a jnani, become a yogi, spend years in tapas, austerities, whatever else you want to do, and eventually maybe in 1,000 years you may become capable. But Krishna is saying it's your choice, but I'm also giving you a shortcut. I'm saying there is a shortcut. Just surrender to me and I will help you get free from Maya. See, another meaning of guna is rope. So we keep talking about these gunas. One more meaning of guna is a rope. Why I am giving this meaning is, imagine we are all tied tightly by the rope of Maya. Okay, that is a bit pictorial speech. Just imagine that you are tied. Somebody has tied you with a regular rope. Imagine you are all tied. Your hands, legs, everything is tied. Now if you have to free yourself, what is the best thing you can do? Any ideas? Okay, Sulataji.
Yeah, we should always seek help of the person who is tied, who is free.
Okay, excellent. Who else? Rajesh, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say the same thing. Ask for help.
Excellent. Chitraji, you were saying something?
Same thing, ask for help.
Excellent. That means this whole class is understanding the core message of Shri Krishna. How beautiful. Okay, and Sulataji used perfect words towards the end. She said, we should ask for help from somebody who is free. In other words, we should ask for help from somebody who is themselves not tied. And that is the easiest, best thing to do. You can try to do circus, like a Tom Cruise or Jason Statham or something like that. You are trying to cut it and all that stuff. Or just yell out, call out. Look for somebody who is themselves not tied and only they can come and free you. Correct? Now it's common sense. Now this is what we said. The rope is the gunas. And we said that Krishna is beyond those gunas. What that means is you can never tie Krishna. In other words, Krishna is always free. Free to help. And because we are tied ourselves, the best thing to do is call out to Krishna because he is always free. And that is the best way to get free from those gunas. Untie yourself from that rope. That is the message that is coming from Krishna. Because nobody else is capable of that. I mean, there are people that can help you to some extent some of the time. But if you want somebody who is having 100% success rate, that is going to be that person who is got 0% chance of getting tied themselves. And that is only Krishna. And that is the whole crux of the teachings of Vaishnavism or Bhagavad Gita. Another analogy is Maya. When we say Maya, we said Maya is like a rope we just discussed, but you can also look at Maya as a wild dog, ferocious wild dog, dangerous. I don't know how many of you have seen. Most of the dogs we see in India or even Canada for that matter, they are very, polite dogs. But there are some real big nasty dogs. I've seen one when I was in Germany. I was not prepared for it. I went to visit a German friend. They were living on a farm, and that dog was like, when the dog leapt, it was taller than me, and like I thought I can't take that weight. I'm just giving you an idea of a ferocious dog. You have to picturize a really big, heavy, monstrous, ferocious dog. That is Maya. So you are going to visit a friend. You are near the gate, and you see such a ferocious dog ready to tear you apart. So what is the best way to now deal with that dog? We don't have Anish here. He answered last time. Okay, Ekansha has...
Ask for help to the owner.
Owner. Yes, just call out to your friend. Say, bhai, take care of this dog of yours. You can yourself try to be smart. That option is also there. You can try to jump, you can try to, fight the dog, you can try to overpower the dog. There are dozens of things. It's all possible. Krishna says that's your choice. If you want, I will teach you how to run. If you want, I will teach you how to jump. I'll teach you all that also if you want. But I'll also give you a shortcut. Just call my name, na? The dog belongs to me. If I say keep quiet, the dog is going to keep quiet. See? So beautiful, common sense, correct? So what is the crux of what we have discussed so far today? Hard way. The hard way is get all the required knowledge, do the various yogic practices, purify ourselves, tapasya, austerities, alana, falana. Do all of that and then realize Krishna. Possible, but that's going to take a few lifetimes, minimum. Easy way, just surrender to Krishna. And how do we surrender to Krishna? Krishna himself has given. There are 6 steps to surrender. And if we can follow those 6 steps to surrender to Krishna, shortcut, Maya is taken care of. You are on the path to liberation. I think last time also we discussed it in the previous batch, and Deepaji was going through that. Deepaji, do you still have those 6 steps with you? You want to read for us? Okay.
I remember them, but the notes that you followed is not there, sir, Guruji. I remember 5. I was trying to recollect the 6th one. 1 minute.
DDFGOP.
You want to read, Sulataji? Do you remember? You want to read it?
I remember.
You can just tell, use your own words. That's okay.
DDFGOP is the abbreviation which you
Yes.
give.
Yes.
Desire.
Desire. What is which aligns with the desire of God.
Yes.
And the second D is don't desire, which is against the
Don't
desire of
align.
God. F is have faith in God that He is your protector.
Mhm.
Is have gratitude for all the grace we have received already.
Mhm.
O is don't have the sense of ownership.
Excellent.
And P, pride, not even the pride of surrenderance we should have.
Excellent. Big round of applause. Thank you, Sulabhaji. So I hope everybody understood this. So this is the 6 quick steps. If you follow, and if you need, I can either Sulata or me. Sulataji, maybe we can share this again in the group after this session and go through those 6 steps. Those are the 6 steps that tell us how to surrender. And if we can focus on that, follow that, surrender becomes easy. And once you surrender, everything becomes easy. Beautiful, correct? Okay. Now, the need to surrender to Krishna. Do you think that is something that I am interpreting based on my knowledge? Or do you think it is some scholars who are interpreting and telling that this is what Krishna wants? I want to tell you that's not how it is. Because if you pay attention, Shloka 7.14, Krishna himself says, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva I Prapadyante Mayam Etam Tarantite. That is 7.14. Krishna specifically says, this divine illusion of mine made up of 3 gunas is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered to me can easily cross beyond it. So the need to surrender and why it is a shortcut is directly given by Krishna himself. So it is not somebody's interpretation. So we can totally have faith in that and just follow it. Okay? It's okay if you forget a lot of this theory that we have read, but those 6 steps to surrender, nobody should forget. You should go read again and again and again until it gets internalized. Okay? That is my homework to all of you. So now we spoke about it is so easy, surrendering is the best way, surrendering is a shortcut. So then why humans don't understand this? We also discussed that ignorance is there. Because of ignorance, people don't surrender. Now Krishna is categorizing these people into 4 types. 4 types of people who do not surrender. Why are we learning this? We are not learning this so that we can judge others. You should not now start looking at everybody and saying, oh, you are type 1, you are type 2. That's not the goal. The goal is, look at ourselves. Do we have any of the qualities of these 4 people? These 4 types of people. If you think we have, most of us may have some of those qualities, we have to pay attention and we have to get rid of it. That is the whole idea. What are the 4 categories? The first category, Krishna says, the Muda, ignorant. That's what we discussed, the top quality. Because they are ignorant, they are always busy satisfying their sensory pleasures. Usually these are the people who use the word enjoyment too much. I want to enjoy this, I want to enjoy that. It's just a mode of ignorance because they are running behind sense pleasures. It doesn't give you any long-term benefits. So because they are so busy, it is the same like animals. Animals, they pretty much, animals, what do? They only enjoy. That is what they do. For them, enjoyment means, like for a dog, eating a bone is enjoyment. For a cat, eating a rat is enjoyment. And all their life, that's what they do and they die. They have no scope of liberation, no scope of self-realization. Okay, that is the Muda. What is the second? Nara Adama, the lazy. Pay attention. The lazy people are also not able to understand this knowledge and surrender. These people, they usually even have knowledge. They know what needs to be done. But because of their laziness, they are not able to do that. It is those people who will get a gym membership because they know that is the right thing to do. And it is more like a charitable donation because they will go on January 1st and then maybe, once in 3 months, Because the laziness, most of the times it is the laziness that lets them, prevents them from doing what needs to be done. Laziness has been called out in other scriptures also. Now there is a Sanskrit saying. So in Sanskrit there are some beautiful proverbs. They are known as Subhashitas. So I have extracted one such Subhashita. It comes from Bharati Hari's Niti Shatakam. It says, Alasyam hi manushyanam sharirasto mahanaripuha nastyudyama samo bandhuha kritvayam navasidati. Laziness is a big enemy and it resides in our body itself. Work is a good friend of humans which never leads to regret or downfall. So basically the author is saying, if you are not lazy, even if that much you can take care and fight laziness, then you can make sure that you will not have many regrets in life. And you can make sure that you avoid downfall, because according to the author, laziness causes a lot of other problems. I just want to give you a little bit of further insights. This you will not find in the Gita, but it's very helpful regardless. So there is this great author called Bharati Hari. He was a very great philosopher. He's from the old 5th century, and he has written something known as Shatakatraya, which means it's a treatise on 3 different aspects. What are those 3 aspects? Shringara means love, Vairagya is dispassion, and Niti is moral conduct. On each of them he has written, and so they are also known as Shatakams. So this particular verse we spoke about comes from Niti Shatakam. So it is a Niti part of it. If anybody is interested, send me a message. I can share. I have that Niti Shatakam. I have the version with me. The other 2 I don't have, but we can always search and get it. So because these kind of shlokas that are written, that I said, I told you they are known as Subhashitas. They are very beautiful. They are very concise, insightful. Okay, so we spoke about Muda. We spoke about Nara Adama. The third one is Mayaya Apahrita Jnanaha. Who are these people? The deluded spectators. What does it mean? Deluded spectators. These are the Atishana peoples. Because there's the word Jnani also in that. So they are Jnanis in a way, but they are deluded. In other words, they are so proud of their intellect. They just cannot empty their cup. Because of which they are just not able to accept the greatness of God. They are not able to accept the superiority of God or Krishna. Because they are very, very proud of their own intellect and they are busy with their own intellectualization. And they are not able to develop any faith. Because everything has to be intellectualized. There is this debate I once was watching. There is this atheist who was trying to debate with a believer. And the atheist was telling the believer, like, you guys think that God created universe, you guys think that God created everything, but I don't think anybody needs to create anything. Everything happened, Big Bang just happened, the universe just happened, So then this believer asks him, in other words, you are telling me that this brain that you have just happened. Basically, it is a random event that happened and some random set of chemicals came together and they created your brain. If that is the case, then why are you having so much conviction in that brain? Because it's just something that happened randomly. So how can you have so much conviction in something that happens randomly? So this is what these intellectuals need to understand is, they just need to develop faith. They cannot try to intellectualize everything because our instrument is so limited. Okay, the 4th type is Asuram Bhavam. Those with demonic nature, demonic people. They are usually the ones who are total atheists. They will have an allergy to anything related to God. If you say God, they will make a face. They're very, very negative in that aspect. The biggest problem with these people is they themselves never follow the path and they will not let others also follow. So if they are very close to you, then God save you, because they are going to constantly distract you from the path. So I hope none of us in this group is demonic. Thank you for not being that way. Okay, so these are the 4 types Krishna has categorized. people who cannot surrender. And then Krishna also categorizes the type of people who do surrender to him. So Krishna says, but even there, he says there is a reason. And he calls them Sukritanas. So the ones who don't follow, they are Duskritanas, and those who follow are Sukritanas. The first one, Artha, the distressed. Very, very common, most common kind of people who come to God. As I told you previously, when we are in trouble, it is easier to think of God. Then we will pray, we will do chanting, we will do everything. But when life is going ekdam fine, when we are successful, that is a tough part. Then it's very hard to prioritize God. So Krishna says the first type is the distressed. People who think they are not able to cope up with the problems that they have in their life, they come to me. Very, very common, very normal. So for example, even Draupadi, right? If you see, Draupadi also surrendered to Krishna only when she thought now she is in deep trouble. Maybe later on someday we can read the Uddhava Gita. And Uddhava Gita is pretty much a dialogue where question answer, where Uddhava is asking Krishna a few questions. He's like, can you explain your own behavior? I don't understand, So he's one of the questions, tough questions he's asking Krishna is, why did you wait till Draupadi was in such deep trouble? You could have protected her long ago, right? And I'm not going to go into deep there, but at a very high level, Krishna says, the law of nature, the law of the Srishti that I have created is, I will help when I'm asked for help. I cannot interfere otherwise because I've given you free will. Right? It's your free will. If you want to suffer, that is your free will. But if you want deliverance, you ask for deliverance. That is why even in the Bible it says, if you ask, then you are given. Correct? So he says, if Draupadi had come to me even before the Krida started, I would have been her friend. I would have protected her. But she yelled my name only when she was really in deep trouble. Otherwise, she was using her intellect. She was standing in front of the court. She was debating with Pitama. She was asking how this can happen, whether it is dharmic, whether it is adharmic. She was busy in all of that. Only when somebody was actually trying to pull her sari, she said, Krishna, help me. And the moment she said, Krishna, help me, I went and helped. So these are the first type of people, Artha, distressed. There is a very important lesson here. First important lesson is, don't wait till you are in deep trouble. Okay, Krishna is not charging you any fees. Free, it is free. Krishna's service is free. So don't wait till you are in deep trouble. Just reach out to Krishna every once in a while. Okay. The other thing to keep in mind is, most of us have a lot of family, friends, my close friend, bestest friend, office friend, party friend. But I'm not talking bad about anybody, but the reality is most of them cannot be there, cannot help you when you are really in deep trouble. Most of them won't, because they probably cannot. The only entity that you can be guaranteed will always be there by your side is Krishna, because Krishna himself has promised that. So keep that in mind always. That is what we studied in Bhakti Sutra also. Anyashrayanam tyago anyat ananyata. Just don't have pride in all of this support. You may have 100 friends, don't have pride in that. You may be from a huge dynasty where you have like thousands of relatives. Don't be proud of that, because there will come a time when the only person who can help you is Krishna. Because that is the fact, why don't you prioritize Krishna now when you are not in deep trouble? That is a lesson for us. The other thing you have to keep in mind is this word surrender. Some people they don't like that word, because when you say surrender, it looks like you are doing something like, as if it is, am I a failure or am I losing, or there are a lot of negative connections. But surrender is a very empowering word, So let's say you go to a doctor and the doctor says, I have to check your temperature, and you are like, no, I'm not going to let you do that. Doctor says, Acha, open your mouth, I have to see your tongue. No. Why should you tell me and why should I open my mouth? If you are in that mindset, can the doctor help you? So surrender basically means you are letting the other person help you. That is the reason and meaning of surrender. Just like that, Krishna wants to help you, but you have your own ideas, you have your own intellect, you have your own fears, and you are not letting him help. So when Krishna says surrender to me, all Krishna is saying is let go and let me in. That is why those 6 steps are necessary. If you see those 6 steps, none of them say that fall on the floor and roll on the floor. That is not what surrender is. The 6 steps beautifully tell you what you need to do to surrender, and they are a very empowering set of steps that makes you eligible and open to receive the grace of God. So that was the first type, Artha. Second was Jigyasu, the seekers of knowledge. Of course, these are the people who are curious, so they want to know, and so they approach Krishna. The third is Artha Arthi, the seeker of worldly possessions. Dhruva, you remember the example of Dhruva? Where his father scolded him and he was very upset. So he goes, he sits, he does tapasya. What is on his mind? He says, when God comes, I'm going to tell God, make me so powerful that my father will appreciate me. So he wants material success. That is his intention. But the beauty is when God comes in front of him, he forgets all about that, and instead of all of that, he just tells Lord that just bestow selfless, pure love. That's the beauty of the story. But what made him go towards God was Artha-Arthi. He was seeking material. Just like that, a lot of people who reach or who pray to Krishna because they need something. And the fourth type is the Jnani, the real Jnani, the true Jnani. These are people who are already situated in knowledge. So they already know what is the right thing. And that is why they go to Krishna. So when Krishna says that the goal of Bhakti Yoga should be to develop our devotion and surrender to Him out of just love, selfless love, not out of fear, not out of greed, not for any reason. It should be based out of pure selfless love. How is it possible? It is possible only if you reach out to Him when you are not in need. So this is the best time to do that. When you think everything is fine, this is the best time to reach out, because that is when you can actually be in a mindset of love and not in a mindset of need or greed. And Krishna says, all those who are devoted to me are indeed noble, but those in knowledge, those who are steadfast in mind, and those whose intellect is merged in me, and who have made me as their supreme goal, I consider them as my very self. It's not I consider them dear to me. I consider them to be my very self. Such empowering words from Krishna. So we all want to be close to Krishna, dear to Krishna. Krishna is saying, you can not only be dear to me, you can actually merge with me, you can become me. That is Krishna's assurance to us. So this is yet another way in which Krishna is telling us that Bhakti Yoga is the supreme path, the best path that takes us directly to Krishna. Do you all have time for a small story? Okay.
Yes, Guru.
Okay, it's a very popular story. A lot of you may have heard about it. The story of there was a king. His name was Bali. So I can say, once upon a time, long, long ago, there was a king named Bali. See, but he was not just any king. He was very kind and he was very generous, and his kingdom was so vast. His kingdom was in the heavens, in the earth, and even in underworld, even Patala. His kingdom was reaching all these places. And guess what? A very common thing, when somebody gets powerful, Mr. Indra gets insecure. So Lord Indra felt very threatened. He's like, this king is becoming more powerful than me. So then he goes to Vishnu. And he tells Vishnu, of course he tells it very smartly, Vishnu, you have to take care of the balance in the universe, and very, very smart guy, right? But Vishnu is smarter than him. Vishnu knows why Indra has come to him, but nevertheless, Vishnu is also this Dayalu, and Vishnu has his own Leelas. There was a reason why Vishnu let Bali become so powerful, because Vishnu wanted to play a Leela and teach a few lessons to humanity. Okay. So what Vishnu does, in this particular instance, he transforms into a small boy named Vamana. And of course, because Vishnu has himself transformed into a boy, that boy is very tejasvi and very sweet looking, handsome looking. Now he goes to Bali's palace, where Bali was conducting a yajna, a very big yajna. Most of these kings, it was their favorite pastime. When they become successful, they will have these yajnas. These days, these politicians, when the election time comes, they will be giving, umbrellas for free and cookers for free and all of that. Just like that, in those days, kings would conduct yajnas and they would distribute gifts and all of that. So he looks at this kid and he's very, he's curious. He's like, what do you want? Why have you come here? So Vamana very innocently says, King Bali, I want a piece of land. And then Bali says, you want a piece of land? Okay. How big a piece of land do you want? So the child smiles and says, just give me as much land as I can cover in 3 steps. And the king is very amused, because we just said this king was, he was a Maha King. His kingdom was spanning heavens and netherworlds and everything. And this small child comes and says, can you give me land that I can cover in 3 steps? And Bali feels very amused. He's like, what kind of a request is this? He says, of course. He has a big laugh and he says, you want that much land? Take it, it's yours. No, but he didn't know that this small act is going to change his life forever, because needless to say, in an instant, that child Vamana grows, because he's Vishnu himself, right? So Vamana grows into a huge, humongous being. And it says that his one step already covered all of earth. And Bali was like, beginning to realize that this is something else. There's a Leela going on in front of me. He's not an ordinary boy. What is going on? So in one step, he covers earth. On the second step, he covers all the heavens. And then Vamana smiles and asks, oh king, I still have one more step. Where shall I keep it? So that is where Bali understands. He understands what Vishnu is trying to teach him. And then he kneels down and he says, you can keep your 3rd step on my head. It's a very, very popular, famous story. So this story symbolizes what? It is symbolizing surrender. Because at that time, Bali understood his mistake, let go of his pride, and he totally surrendered. And he told Vamana, yes, I understand, keep your 3rd leg on my head. He had no regrets. He was not at that time trying to hold on to his kingdom and everything. So that it was an act of surrender that we are supposed to learn from that whole thing. And it is said that Vishnu was very pleased with Bali's devotion, humility, and all of that, and then he told that the underworld is still there. I have not kept foot there, so you can take that. You can rule over that. But in general, Vishnu blessed Bali and Bali received his grace. That is the whole story. So what is the timeless lesson we are learning here is true power does not come through conquest or the possessions that you have. Where does true power come from? True power comes from humility. It comes from surrender. And it comes from recognizing the divine transcendence. So that is the whole teaching of these set of shlokas we read today. So as I said, my only request is, after this session, Sulataji is going to share the 6 steps to surrender. So please read that, try to remember that, and maybe take a printout and look at it every day. And trust me, that itself will prove to be a transformative experience for all of you. So Hare Krishna, I think with that I will stop talking. I've been talking a lot. I'll open the floor. If you have any questions, comments, feel free. Okay.
Guruji,
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Asha ji.
Yeah, so a question like, so Raja Bali was such a great king. He was kind, generous, everything. But he was in pride. So are there any signs like people like us to understand like because the person who is in pride, he did not understand like he's in pride. So are there any signs like to understand like we are doing it wrong? We are in a pride.
Excellent question. Thank you for asking that question. So it's very beautifully, I can tie this to what I just requested you. So look at those 6 steps for surrender. If any of those steps seem difficult to you, or if any of those 6 steps seem unacceptable to you, then you can say that you are in pride. If all the 6 steps, they seem acceptable to you, and if you think you can follow those 6 steps, then you are not in pride. So it's a very objective way. You can just look at those 6 steps and see if you are able to follow it. Okay, that is pride. So in general, what happens when you are in pride, you just don't even want to acknowledge a divinity. Now, if you don't acknowledge divinity, or if you don't acknowledge that somebody is superior, then how can you even think of surrendering? So the first step is acknowledge. Say, I want to surrender. No, you don't know how to surrender. What is surrender? Then go look at those 6 steps. And then if each of those steps, they agree with you and you agree with them, then you are not in pride anymore. So I hope that makes sense, Asha ji.
Yes, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Deepa ji, you are asking something?
So mine is not a question, more this Bali story that you talked about. Is it the thing about Kerala? I mean, that's where they celebrate. There's a festival also, like he kept his head, and it's more related to Kerala because that's where he's from.
Yes.
The Onam or one of the festivals is celebrated around that, like right?
Yes, our festival is celebrating this.
I was just connecting with it because, I mean, God came and kept his hair, and then there's a feast and all, but now it's like the dots are connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kalpana ji has a question. Yes.
Yeah, so this question is related to the Draupadi example. So Draupadi surrenders, like she tries her level best first on her own, and then she surrenders. So I want to know for us, like, how do we know when we should, when we are going through something, what is the degree to, that we should try ourselves first and then surrender?
Excellent question. I hope everybody got that question. Like, when do I know I should surrender, right? So my answer is very simple. This is what we have learned. So look at Krishna's teachings, how he categorically took us from first jnana, where in chapter 2 he's talking about Sankhya, jnana, right? And then he talks about chapter 3 karma. Then he talks about nishkama karma, where he says renunciation in action. And then he comes all the way by the time we come to 6th chapter, he's taking us to devotion in action. So that is the whole lesson. The lesson is, do what you are supposed to do, but do that in devotion. In other words, you are in a mode of surrender all the time. So if you have to argue with Bhishma Pitama, if you have to put sense into them, do it. But even that should be done from a mindset of surrender. You are already surrendered to Krishna and then you are doing it. Okay? So it should not be that I will surrender when I am in trouble. You are already in a surrender state of mind and you are doing whatever you are supposed to do, and Krishna will take care of the results. That is the whole idea, tatparya behind this whole example. The same holds true. I mean, Uddhava will ask Krishna other tough questions also. Like Uddhava will say that you are the owner of Maya. You are the creator of Maya. And the whole, that game of dice was rigged. You know that. And you know that Shakuni cheated by using his powers. But you knew it. So why did you not prevent it from happening? Okay, and Krishna repeats the same thing. Krishna says, as I have told you, Yudhishthira never asked my advice, taken counsel of me. Yudhishthira could have come and told me that Shakuni is playing for Duryodhana, why don't you play for me? If that had happened, do you think they would have ever lost the match? So it all comes to that. See, free will is a double-edged sword. We think that free will only means I will do whatever I want to do. Okay, that is part of the story. But free will also means that nobody can help you unless you ask for help. Because being helped should also be from your free will. I should not be helping you because I want to help you. I should be helping you because you want to be helped. Because that is your free will. You have to exercise that free will. See, that is how the universe is created. That is how the universe is going to work. I hope this makes sense. Okay, I have Smita ji, her hands raised.
On the same regard which Kalpana ji asked, what about this same Guruji where this is what I've heard growing up, like God helps those who helps themselves. So Draupadi must have been, I'm just thinking, or in this case Draupadi or anybody, they must be trying to do their part in helping themselves.
Exactly.
Thinking that God will help those who help themselves. So it could be interpreted that way too, right? So in this thing, it doesn't mean that we're not surrendering, but we are trying to help ourselves by defending or, whatever she was doing.
Excellent question. I totally understand what you're asking. I will answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I understood your question. So this is why I'm saying go back to Krishna's teaching. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma farma phala hetur burma samgotsava karmani. So Krishna says first do what needs to be done. Don't take the side of inaction. Don't think that not acting, not doing something is going to help you. So do what you have to do, but just don't be attached to the results. And that is how it starts. So to Smitaji's point, yes, Krishna will help those who help themselves. You are helping yourself. But are you in the mindset that I need Krishna's help? Or are you in the mindset that I am doing everything and the results depend on what I am doing? That is the difference. That is where Krishna says it has to be devotion in action. So yes, Draupadi was doing whatever she needs to do, but she was depending on her own intellect. Somehow she thought that she can intellectualize the situation with Bhishma Pitama and change the course of action. Instead, if she was in a mindset of, Krishna, I surrender to you, I am going to talk to Bhishma Pitama, please help him understand. You see, with that mindset if she had gone, then she would not even have been in trouble. That is the whole message. So help yourself, but with the mindset that ultimately Krishna is the one who is going to help you get the results, whatever results they are. Is that making sense, Mitaji? Okay, awesome. Who else? I think, Sulataji, you had a question?
You had touched upon this point also where some may think surrendering makes themselves weaker. And you had explained, I think in Bhakti Sutra, that surrender doesn't make us weak. Because if we think that, the people who think that, that means they are having this ego rule over them.
Yes.
So ego is taking control of them. Yes. And surrendering means you have crumbled that ego, you have won over it. So it's your, victory.
Excellent. Thank you for reminding us, Sulataji. So Ashaji, this is yet another indication. So if you think surrender, if it makes you feel like, oh, surrender means I'm becoming weak, then that is, you are in a mode of pride. Sulataji reminded us very beautifully, surrendering is an empowering act. Why? Because when you surrender, you are gaining victory over your own ego. You are conquering your ego. So that makes you strong, not weak. And those who refuse to surrender, they think they are strong, but they are actually becoming a victim of ego. So how can a victim be strong? See, it's a paradox. So that is why when you surrender, it is a show of strength. And when you refuse to surrender, it is a show of weakness. We are talking about surrendering to a divine entity, of course. Thank you, Sulataji. Really appreciate that.
Another thing is you had explained when, surrendering is not a submissive mode, It is, it comes from the position of strength, as you said. It's like when you love someone, you try to give
our best version of ourselves. So we should follow, as you said, the teachings of Krishna in the mode of surrender, this devotion. And then, you will have all self-purification done, and then you become the best version when you surrender.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sulataji. Grateful to your memory and, reminding us of all the right teachings. Very grateful. And thank Ashaji for the wonderful questions. Smitaji, Deepaji, thanks to you all. Wonderful session. Appreciate all your inputs. Keep it coming. Okay. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. See you all again in the next session. In the next session, maybe you are all one step closer to surrender. You would have gone through the 6 steps and internalized them. Okay? Okay. Hare Krishna. See you all.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.